Right, now, we do have some developments that have come to light just in the last few minutes, so I'm going to have to read them out to you, I'm afraid. This is in relation to a gun-obsessed illegal migrant who's made threats to kill. He appears to have arrived in Britain, across the Channel. So this comes on the day that Prime Minister Keir Starmer has revealed that he's accepting at least 8 more years of illegal Channel crossings by making you, the taxpayer, pay more than £520 million for processing centres to keep their doors open. So I believe that we might be able to show you a little bit of footage now, or certainly a picture. This is a guy called Madapasa. There he is. Looks like a lovely chap. Appears to have a Kalashnikov tattoo under his eye there. Quite distinctive, I think you would agree. So he's been releasing TikTok videos of what appears to be his journey across Europe. From Sweden, there were some quite young girls around him, I believe, at one point as well. Yeah, and then he appears to have made it to Germany.
Dankeschön, Germany. Dankeschön, Germany. Dankeschön, Germany. Germany, Germany. Yeah.
And look, hey, according to his TikTok, it then seems as though he managed to get to northern France.
They're camping en route, they've got their fire going, their tent up, they're making a series of exceptionally aggressive images. He's telling the world he's about to attempt an illegal crossing of the English Channel, and it's party time.
There are some other videos that appear to show him on a beach in northern France. We've chosen not to publish those tonight. Nigel Farage has released that video of him, as you would see there. And then this happened. Madapasa appears to say that he's now made it to London. We used a translation service to interpret the following video that you're going to see now.
You know where I am, everyone. You know exactly where I am. I'm now in London, but you know where I was. I was at the London border, where there are crazy people, they were armed and such. Maybe I showed weapons and stuff, but... You know where I am, folks. That's all the content. Don't pay attention to the gossip. That's all, just a message from Taranza.
Well, look, that's the translation that we had there, which he says, I am in London. He also seems to have made threats to kill.
Englishman, Nigel Farage, don't talk about me. You not know me. I come to England because I want to marry with your sister. Don't talk about me more. I gonna come to England. I gonna mother.
Yeah, I mean, that appears to be the gun noise there, I suppose. So, we did a bit of a dive into his online presence, and some of his latest videos are geotagged as being in London. OK, now, that doesn't necessarily conclusively mean that he is, but there's this video here, which you're looking at on your screens now, which is a video of an Asda shop, cars with English number plates. Now we looked at that building there. We believe that that's Bournemouth, OK? So, again, I am not saying that this is absolutely cast-iron conclusive proof that this chap is indeed in Bournemouth, but he's certainly putting videos out that I think most people would agree suggest that he quite possibly is. We've reported it to the Home Office. They did not appear to be too concerned about the possibility that this chap was in Britain, I must say. They asked us if we'd reported it to the police. We have now contacted the Metropolitan Police over this. Again, difficult to know exactly where in the country he is, if indeed he is here. If he is in Britain, though, this is clearly a problem. But how many other people like him are in Britain that we just don't know about? And I think that's the bigger issue here, isn't it? That's the bigger issue here. And, of course, then it would be why, if they are here, are you paying for them to have a house and to have benefits as well? I'm going to whiz us over to my panel now. I'm joined by TV News star Nana Akua. We also have political commentator Andy Williams and the political editor at the Daily Express, Sam Lister. Nana, look, you know, again, I'll stress, we can only go off what we've got there, and those videos, I think most people would agree, you know, suggest that he has made his way over here. How concerning is it that not just him, but people like him are here?
Well, it's great to see Smashing the Gangs is going well. I mean, seriously, it's so concerning because we don't know who they are. We don't know what they bring with them. Even if they're languishing in processing centres, they haven't been processed, so nobody knows what their background is. And of course, we have a situation with our police force. I mean, we know now that the police are leaving in their droves, in particular, because they don't want to do the job. And the crime rate of actually solving crimes is so low, most of them don't get solved. So we are not in a fit state to be accepting people who we have not checked out who they are.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really concerned about this government because they're not... I don't feel they're taking it seriously.
Well, 250 million quid, roughly, I think. Sorry, no, 520 million pounds, apologies. 520 million pounds, roughly, to give the processing centres enough money to keep their doors open for around another 8 years would suggest that Keir Starmer has, in a way, taken the knee to the Channel crossings.
Yeah, I mean, the government, they've really pushed back on our story today because, obviously, it's really not, doesn't look good for them. What they're saying is actually they've cut the bill on the processing, but I don't think the 8-year timescale will reassure many people out there who were expecting this to be solved really quickly. And I think the video you've shown today, Patrick, I think really illustrates the problem because even though we're paying France huge amounts of money, what incentive is there for anybody in France to try and stop that man leaving their shores? You know, the French politicians don't want a man like that in their country, do they? The Germans don't want, criminals in their country either. There is no incentive to stop them from making people like that reach our shores. Yeah.
Are you concerned about this? I mean, when you see things like that... Look, if I was a Home Secretary, if I was Keir Starmer, I don't think I'd be able to sleep at night knowing that individuals like that could now be in Britain and could go on to do goodness knows what. But I just don't know if our government seems to care that much. Am I wrong about that?
No, I think they do. I mean, it's one of the major priorities of this government. They made that very clear from the start. It's one of the 5 missions to smash the gangs, as they say. I don't think it's as simple as that. And if it was, then we'd be looking at getting it sorted in no time at all. It's partly about that. I think it's also about getting a better agreement with France. That's a really important plank of this. And personally, I think the way in which the previous government destroyed some of our relationships with our European allies did not help on that front. I don't think it's as simple as that. But I think some of the work that Keir Starmer has done to rebuild some of those relationships is important. And the final thing, and I know this is something that GB News viewers, a lot of them really hate, is digital ID cards. That actually is a fundamental, in my view, missing piece.
Well, I'd be in favour of it for illegal immigrants. I don't see what the case...
But if we rolled them out for everyone... you wouldn't get one as a legal immigrant, and then you wouldn't be able to stay here.
You're talking about the same people that would chuck their papers overboard before they come here. I think it's just absolutely farcical, and it's the most ridiculous suggestion ever. Turn the boats back. That's what I'd be doing, frankly. I just think all of this digital ID cards, this and that. So you mean they should come here and then we give them the card? Look, I want it to stop before they even get here. And I actually hear you blaming, sort of talking about how the fact that the past government didn't have a good relationship with Europe. The Europeans did not want to know us because we left, and they were not nice to us. And they did not want to do a deal. They wanted.
I don't think that's the only reason. My point is, I think it's complicated. I think there are loads of reasons why it's got to this stage. But I mean, look at two.
But digital ID cards is hard.
Well, I think it's part of the solution.
Means they're here. Now you're giving them a card so you know that they're here. But so what?
Just on that note, Sam, I'll bring you in on this. If this guy has managed to get to Britain, he has been TikToking his journey across Europe, it seems. He's got a lot of followers on TikTok, a lot. Nigel Farage did a video highlighting his movements a few days ago, about 5 days ago. If he has now managed to get a small boat across Britain and just be free to roam, does that not expose just unbelievable security failures?
Well, I mean, Keir Starmer told us that he'd invented this great new border command that was going to stop all this stuff. So I'm quite baffled as to how well that's going.
You're not going to roll that out in 101 days.
You would have thought the bloke with the Kalashnikov tattoo on his cheek might raise some concern.
No, I accept that.
Well, he's rolled out quite a few things in the first 100 days.
I'm sorry. Being friends with Emmanuel Macron is not going to solve this issue, is it? And clearly the Border Command Agency, I mean, it's only 100 days in, but they've managed to do quite a lot of damage already in 100 days, the Labour government. So, I'd like to see some progress on the things they insist they are going to
Let's see, but I think when you're putting a really serious piece of infrastructure, a brand new agency in place, it does take more than a few weeks to do that.
Well, we need a number on it. He needs to tell us how long this is going to take because...
Well, 8 years by the looks of it.
Yeah, because he ditched Rwanda, even though it was acting as a deterrent. And every time I say that, people people go, well, where's your proof? And we've got plenty of videos of Patrick speaking to people who came here who are saying they're not going to come until Keir Starmer gets in power. So there's plenty.
We spent 700 million on that and 4 people left.
Well, think how much more money you would spend if you allow all these people to keep coming, bringing all their families and everything else like that.
And now,
that would be a drop in the ocean.
Germany wants to use our Rwanda.
Exactly.
We spent all the money on Rwanda and set everything up.
I mean, this could. And look, again, I will emphasise. I've been pretty straightforward with everybody watching this programme. Those videos that we've played you exist, right? They are out there. He's put it out there. He's geo-tagged himself in London and then done one of what appears to be an Asda in Bournemouth. I'm not there, so I can't go and shake that guy's hand outside an Asda in Bournemouth myself. But, we've got a bit to go off there, and it appears to be that. It could well be a test case, could it not? If indeed he is, and he goes through the asylum process, and we can't deport someone who has been making, the old gun signals and talking about Nigel Farage and seeming to make threats to kill and travel through... If we end up not being able to deport that individual, then I think that is going to lend a huge amount of weight for a lot of people who think that we should leave the ECHR.
Well, what about the Albanian guy? I mean, he committed crimes, then he left here, was thrown out, then he came back, and then he's now got a right to a family because of one of the articles in the ECHR. Look, and throughout this process, we're probably going to be paying for any appeals and legal stuff. I don't see why we should pay for the appeals. I think if you come here and you're rejected, you pay for your own appeal if you want to stay. Why are we paying for this?
We know there's a whole industry.
Why?
There's a whole industry of lawfare that is involved in these deportation cases. We've seen investigations that show that they advise people how to...
But why do we have to? I don't understand why we have to.
Well, final word on this. Look, if that guy is here, do you think we should deport him?
Well, if he's here illegally, which by all accounts he is, then yes. But it's complicated, right? It's not as straightforward as just saying, turn back the boat. Because it just is.
Get rid of him.
How? How practically? Were you going to pick him up like that and remove...
Literally, that would be the thing. But the problem we have is we have do-gooders, ECHR, all these people go, no, you can't, this poor person...
The ECHR is just the latest false silver bullet that's going to solve all problems.